Hello and welcome to part 2 of my rigging tutorial. In this tutorial, part 2, we will be learning rigging and animating our rigged body. So, from the last tutorial, what you should be able to do by now is pose and all of that. So, now we're to pose our character, so let's just make him wave at us. Let's make him wave at us. So this is going to be our guy, a little cube guy. Let's make him waves. So we click the bone we want to move. In this case, we're going to move this bone. Do R for rotate, Y so we rotate on the Y axis, and then pull it a little up. So now we have, now if you try lifting your hand up, you can always use that as a reference or go to Google and search waving hand or something like that for a reference image. Good to have those, but I'm not going to be using one. I'm just going to be using my hand. And then we do the same thing, R for rotate and Y for the Y axis, and rotate it like this. Okay, so now if we go back to solid view, so our hand looks like that. And you know what, I don't need to be in wireframe mode to animate this. Okay, so now to make it a bit more realistic, because it's very strange having just one hand sticking out to the left and then one going up to the right, we just do the exact opposite. So R for rotate on the Y, go a bit down with it, and then R, Y, and a bit down with it. Okay, so now we have pose. Now you know how to pose. And you might be thinking, oh, crappy blenders. This doesn't have the color we want. I want some other color. I don't want this color, this disgusting color. Okay, so let's go back to object mode and what am I doing? Select the cube and click to the little ball on the right hand corner, and then click new. And this is gonna be where all your textures are for this character. So I'm not gonna do any complex stuff at all, like nodes to change at certain places or draw. I'm just going to do a base color, make it red. Yeah, let's make it red. So now if we hop onto rendered view, my computer's probably going to crash. It should look red, and in the pose you have it. See? Okay, so now we posed it, and it's not lit up. That's because we don't have light, as you might have guessed. If you have any experience in Blender, this is your first time using Blender, you always need a light, just like real life. You need a light to illuminate anything. If you don't have light, it's just gonna be dark. Okay, so now we have our little guy. Now we can't render this immediately. We need to add a camera, so Shift A and select camera. And what I like to do, because I find it so much better, hop into the camera, or you can press numpad 0, but I don't have a numpad, so I'm just going to click the camera, and then you're looking from what the camera is. Now, if you try to move, you're moving out of the camera, but you can't scroll out to further your view and all of that. So now if you press N and go to view, so there's going to be item, tool, and view for you. I have polygon and shortcut VUR for my add-ons. I added those. So you click view and then press here under view lock, press camera to view. So now when deselect by pressing N again, if I look, the camera is following the angle of where I am looking. So if I maybe go like this, and then look a little like this. Okay, so this is now, and then I go N and deselect it, and now I can go back to normal view, and the camera is there. Very nice to use. I use this a lot when I'm modeling. Okay, so now if we click render, but you're gonna want to choose where you're gonna render it. So you choose here, and then you save where you want to render it. And then keep this as a PNG. You want to keep this as a PNG. And and you click render and render image, or F12 is the shortcut for rendering. So it's gonna take a few seconds for me, and if you have a power, look, now we have it here. This is our image. Now if you want to save this image, which I'm not gonna do, you go here, save as you were, and then select where you're saving it. Okay, so now we want to animate. Oh, and another thing, you can add all sorts of stuff. You can, like if I lift my cube guy here, I can, if I want, add a plane on the bottom, scale it up so it's standing on something, anything like that. You can go crazy, absolutely crazy with these things. Okay, so animating. Now, animating is very easy when it comes to just animating everything. So we want to go click our armature, go to pose mode again. Okay, where was I? Okay, yeah. So click the armature when you're back in object mode, and then just to animate, you can scroll up this here little animation bar. This is where we're gonna do all of our animating. So this here, number 1 is the first frame, and if I click right arrow key, I jump over to the next, and next, and next, and next, and next. And I can choose here also 19, 20, 40. Why is something loading? What's happening? Okay, so here's gonna be our animating. So if we click here, and this one, like, okay, so let's press I. This is what we're gonna do the most. So I is for insert keyframe. So this is gonna where it remembers everything. So we wanna press location. Okay, so now it creates this little thing. And you can scroll in to see more keyframe, to see more space, less space in between, or no more space. And so this is our keyframe over here, this yellow dot. We can move this, we can copy this with Shift D, I think, yeah, Shift D. And now if we select the other button, oh no, it's gone. No worries, that's because we're only keyframing this guy. So when I'm just gonna delete this one, so delete keyframes. So what we want to do, like promised, we want to make this guy wave. So we've already posed him, so his hands are up here, but we want to make him lift his hands up. So let's go back to RY here, and let's make it go down a little so he's more relaxed position. That does not look relaxed. He looks agitated, but it's gonna be okay. It's a cube guy. You can apply this to anything you make. So let's select this. Now, if we press I, rotation, we're just gonna rotate for this, and then go to 10, rotate it Y, and go up, and then I, rotation, and then we press play. Here you can also press spacebar. It's gonna do all the animating itself for us. This is not like 2D animating. You don't have to do frame by frame, but you can do frame by frame if you need any fine, to fine tune it a little. So just Control Z. Okay, so we have this guy here. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press Shift D over to like frame 15. That's good. 15, frame 15. So now this means now Blender is seeing, oh, okay, so we're gonna draw a line here because this is not moving at all. There's no motion at all. So this is just nothing. And I'm doing this because if I were to make an animation at say 16, it would start lifting all of this here. It would be lifting in between, which we don't want because we gotta wait a little. There's probably a better way to do this. I'm just doing what I think is good. So now I'm gonna go to 20. Let's say 20, yeah. And I'm gonna go RY, lift it up a little, and then I, insert rotation. So now it's gonna look like it should if you've done exactly as I, but you can do this any way you like. It should look like this. So in between here, if I do this, you can see all the frames where it's lifting, and it's looked very smooth when played fast. Okay, so now we're up here. Now we want to apply this guy, but see, the keyframes are gone, and the other way you can do this by nulling out this thing, you can go to the desired keyframe where it's not moving at all, and you can just press I and anything here. So I'm just gonna go rotation, so it's gonna stay still here, and now we can start our animating process. So I'm gonna go to 25 RY, go up here, and then I, rotation, and now it should look like, now our whole animation should look like this. Okay, and now let's I'm gonna add on every 10 frames. So I'm gonna skip over here, and I'm gonna fast forward this a bit. Alright, I finished my animating, so this is how it looks in rendered view. So as you can see, it's waving because in these frames, I changed the movement. So here, I went to frame 75 from 65 and turned it down, and then on 65, I turned it up, 55 down, and vice versa. And this is the basics of animating. This is how you animate. If you want the camera to turn, that is just the exact same thing. You just go here, you select the camera. I hate selecting it, never works. Select the camera, and then you just move it where you want, make keyframes, all of that stuff. Oh yeah, that's why I can. I'm still in pose mode. Okay, so if I go to object mode, and then I can select camera, and then I can grab it and keyframe and all of that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just showing you how to animate. So if you render this, and you have to go, make sure you're going to FFmpeg video. Otherwise, it's going to render it as an image and many images. I've done this, and you get so many images because it's an animated process, and it thinks you want to animate every frame, so it gives you every frame individually, which I don't want. So it compresses it over to a FFmpeg video. So now if I click render and render animation, it's gonna take a little while for me, but it's probably gonna take a few seconds. Oh wait, before I render, don't click render yet. Hopefully you didn't click. The animation, now if I click armature, go back to object mode, click pose mode, click this bone. I am going to end it at 90. This way you don't have an extra 100 frames or something. So now I'm just gonna click render and render animation. So, and you can see your results. Thank you for watching. Like if you want more content like this, and please consider subscribing to